Hey y'all, I'm back, and I'm hoping for a better day today. If y'all saw yesterday's video, all I can say is bless your hearts. Thank you for watching. I was a hot mess yesterday, and I had wanted to get 3 videos done yesterday, but after that second one, no, there was no more in me. And I didn't want to subject y'all to my hot mess day. Now, saying that, I'm not going to promise that today won't be a hot mess, but I'm going to try. So today I am working on another one of Dee Dee Fargo's pockets, the hashtag 3 and 15 DFBC, Don't Freak Out Before Christmas challenge. And I'm going to try to make a better show of it today. But if you want instructions, if you want good instructions, go to Dee Dee's channel. I'll link it below and watch her do this because she's much better at it than I am. And this is one of her favorite pockets, so yeah, she can show you how to do it real well. But what we started out with yesterday that was such an informative video. What we started out with was one of these large envelopes with the large window. And what we did was we cut it down to 6 inches. And then we made our yesterday's pocket from here. If I have time, I will show you a more proper demonstration of what you can do, how you can make it easier for yourself. But yeah, I'm going to set that aside. And now what we're left with is a 6-inch by 3.5 inch end of the envelope. Okay, so what Dee Dee did was, since it was wider than our page, in the journal it's going to be 5.5 inches. That's the normal page size for me. And I think that's normally what Dee Dee's are too. She just turned hers sideways. Since this is 6 inches and it won't fit on the page this way, she turned it sideways and is making it a side pocket, which is a really good idea. But I need regular pockets to fit on my page, and for that I like for my pockets to be 4 3/4 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is modify this little thing a little bit. Maybe if I'm not, if I'm not a hot mess today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score at 4 3/4 because I know that's how wide I want my envelope to be. So that's where I want it to fold over. Excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. I usually say ribbit when I do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and you can either do this with your scissors or you can do it with your cutting board. I am going to cut off a 1/2 inch. Let me see if I can show you my score line, where my score line is. Okay, see my score line right there? I'm going to cut off about a 1/2 inch on the outside of that score line. And this does not have to be perfect. We just need to cut away that little extra so we don't end up with a lot of bulk. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over, and I can see my score line here on the back. I'm going to cut that score line, because what I want to do, and I'm holding this one, I'm not cutting the front, I'm just cutting the back. And I'm going to cut down that score line. And here I'm just reducing bulk also, because I don't want to have to fold that whole double piece over. I just want a single fold over. So here I'm going to miter these corners to further take out bulk. Okay, And there we go. Excuse me. Okay. And that is a leftover part of the flap, so it's still glued down good. So then what we're going to do is we're going to end up folding right on that score line that we made. So there's what we have. Okay, and then eventually that will turn in, or we can leave it out. I might just leave it out on this one, because this is going to be glued down to the page. So the next thing that we need to do is cover this. And I know that I need a piece that's about 3.5. About 3.5 by 4 3/4. So this looks like a good piece, and I'm just going to mark it quick and cut it. And I'm trying not to leave an edge on the envelope, a frame around my decorative paper. I'm trying to make it come all the way to the end. But we are going to ink anyway, so if it comes over a little bit, that's fine too. Okay, so I'm just gonna give that a cut and get it cut out. Okay, so here's our piece for the front of the envelope. And now I'm going to need to cut a piece to go inside the envelope. But I don't have to have it like yesterday. I don't have to have it go all the way down. It only needs to come about 1 inch down. So we know that it's 4 3/4 wide. And that's going to be a scrap. Let's see. We might be able to use this one and not have to cut in to that one. Look around, see what you've got in your scraps. Okay, so we need to go to 4 3/4, and I'm going to go just shy of 4 3/4 because we want it to fit nicely inside that envelope space. Okay, and then we need it to go down, I'd say about 1 1/4 inches should be fine. This is dependent on how deep you want the opening of your pocket, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to bring my pocket back over here, and I am going to try to get this in here easily. Hopefully we won't have a fiasco like yesterday. Oh goodness, it's always fun around here. I am such a klutz, it's not even funny. Okay, so I hope y'all are all having a good day. So far I am. It's early in the morning. I'm having my coffee and I'm crafting. What could be better than that? Doesn't get any better than that, I say. Okay, so here we go. And I'm just lining that up right there on this side, and the other side should just follow right along. Okay, there we go. And if you can still see a little bit at the top, that's not going to matter. We're going to ink that all up anyway. Okay, so that went pretty well. So what I'm going to do now is just cover the front. Like I said, we're going to ink all the way around, and we can even cut the top of that pocket off. Maybe that's what I'll do, since we've got that little bit showing of the envelope inside. that is not the prettiest pattern paper I've ever seen. Anyhow, yeah, I hope y'all are all going to have a good day. It's Saturday here, which is nice. It's my stepson's birthday. Of course, he's working. That child works a lot. My husband's gone to work on a project at church. So yeah, it's just me and my parents and my dog this morning. And she's been the loudest one of all this morning. She feels the need now to announce her presence when I let her get up in the morning. Yeah, she's going to announce her presence, make sure everybody's awake. We call her our little alarm clock. We have a routine, though, really, that I'm going to let that dry for a minute before I cut it, because I am going to cut that top off. Yeah, we've got a little routine in the morning that we go in and get my mom. My parents are both in their mid-90s, and I take care of them. So, yeah, in the morning she gets really excited about going in and getting my mom up, because the first thing my mom does is grabs the treats. So we tease her and say that she has to give her breakfast in the morning. And she looks forward to that. Both of them do, actually. Yeah. So, it's all fun. Try to make sure I'm getting this straight. So yeah, then my mom goes in and eats breakfast, and usually my dad he gets himself up and he does real good, gets his own breakfast and everything. My mom gets her own breakfast and everything too. I am so very fortunate, y'all. I am so very fortunate. But yeah, by the time Mom gets up, then Dad's usually done with his breakfast, and then the dog has to go in and sit with Grandpa. So, yeah, they really, really enjoy her, and she enjoys them. She looks forward to them every day. But she is a little fraidy cat. She, is afraid of every noise, every boom or click or bang or anything. And she didn't used to be that way, but I know why she is that way. My husband and I were up in Kentucky. We went to I think it's called the Red River Gorge or something like that. Anyway, we were up there and the roads were really, really narrow. And we were slowed down because I was taking pictures of the river. So we were going very slow. There was no traffic. We were inching along so that I could take some pictures of the river's edge. And lo and behold, here comes this big work truck. Wham! Slams into the side mirror of our truck. And glass went flying everywhere. Because we were, it was a nice day. We had our windows down. Okay, I'm going to tell you the next thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to cut in the center here. So first thing I want to do is find my center. So I know I'm 4 3/4. So my center is going to be 2 3/8. So here's 1, 2, and 3/8. It's going to be right there. So I'm just going to put a little bitty mark. Then I'm going to come in here with my scissors and I'm going to cut down about 1 inch. Just on that mark. I'm just going to it can be 1 inch, a little more than 1 inch, a little less than 1 inch. just as far as you want to do it. And then what I do is I hold my finger here and I fold to my finger from that end of that cut to my finger. Then I'm going to come over here on the other side and do the same thing. End of that cut to my finger. Now, I can do one of two things. I kind of like that, actually. I kind of like that black design there. Kind of breaks up the whole. I am going to ink it. See what we get. Or I could cover that. And if I'm going to cover it, I should have covered it before I cut it and folded it over. So I think I like that. Okay, we're going to leave it like that. I'm just going to ink around. Anyway, back to my little story. Yeah, that truck ran into our side mirror and caused it to fold in, and it crashed against the side of the truck, and my husband's window was up about so far. It crashed against that and broke. The mirror broke and glass went everywhere. I was sitting clear on the passenger side, and it was an F-350. I mean, the big truck. Anyway, yeah, glass went everywhere, and the dog had been sitting between my husband and I in her little carrying case. Well, it was filled with glass. So I picked her up quick. Now I'm just going to glue these little flaps down. And that's it, y'all. I made an envelope, or a pocket from an envelope piece. Yay, thank you, Dee Dee. Anyway, needless to say, it scared that little dog half to death. It scared us, too. I mean, the side of my husband's face was cut, and yeah, it was just awful. So, now, see, that just makes a nice little pocket, and then once it's decorated, it'll be great. So anyway, I've got things cut for these next ones, for the other two, so. But yeah, ever since then, she has just been terrified of any sound, any unusual noise. And I guess it's because that truck hit and caused that crash of that mirror. Yeah, and that guy never stopped. He just moved right along. And of course, he might not have known that the mirror broke and the window was down and all that scariness happened. But we were close to a canoe and kayak rental on the river. So we pulled down in their parking lot, and boy, they came running out and brought us water and towels and really were very nice. But yeah, it was a moment. Okay, so now with this one, I am going to cover both the insides, because I don't think that one's going to look as great. So I'm going to cover the inside front and the inside back. Unfold that flap for a second. And I need to make sure of my length. And I'm just going to measure it and cut it. Sorry if I keep getting my head in the way. Okay, so here we go. I've got two now, one for the front and one for the back. make sure it's not going to impede my crease there, my score line. Okay. And here we go. Just a matter of gluing it in. And it's, you know, these pockets are really simple, but they're very pretty, and they look like maybe they took a minute. Of course, for me, you know, everything takes a minute. I'm going to fold this back so I can see right where the end of the corner of my paper is. And I hope y'all can see, I'm just going to line that up on those edges there and hope that the rest of the way it follows. And it looks like it did pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. But yeah, I'm going to link Dee Dee below. She's much better at showing all this. And I think on her videos, she used plain white pockets with plain white inside, so she didn't have to do all this lining and all of that. But it's not that hard if you don't get too nervous about it and make a mess of it like I can tend to do. Okay, and now I think I'm going to just take that little tip off of there again, the top of the envelope, just that little edge, make it cleaner. Okay, now I'm going to make my pocket. I think the other one I glued to the inside. This one I'll just bring it around to the outside so y'all can see it works the very same in both ways. The only difference is which pocket it might impede a little bit, because you're going to have an edge. You're going to have an edge either on your inside pocket or on your outside pocket. So you got to get all the way to the edges there to make sure that glue spreads all the way to the ends, because you want the edge glued down really well. When you put something in the pocket, you want that edge glued down. Okay, so now I'm going to show you another way of finding your center. Here's how Dee Dee does it. She folds over and just pinches her center, which is a really good idea. And then she just cuts along that pinch. You can measure your center. You can do it however it's comfortable for you. And I'm just gonna, and I'm making sure only to catch that top flap of the envelope. Just cut in, and here I'm going to put my finger, take a finger's width, and I'm going to fold over from that corner to my finger. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing. Take my finger, I'm going to fold from that center, end of that center cut, up to my finger. And we're going to ink a little bit. And then I'm tack these down. And this makes for a quick little pocket, but it is very effective. It's a nice looking pocket. And if you're using a plain white envelope, it could be very simply just folded, cut, inked, and then decorated. You could just keep a whole stack of these in your box and then just have the plain white palette to decorate on. So there we go. So that's our second one. I think we're doing okay. So far, so good. So, but yeah, my poor little dog's afraid of everything. And this one, I already have the flap cut. I need to cut the pieces for the inside. And here we go. We can go with the blue. And again, I'm going to go a little less than 4 3/4, just to make it easier to put in. And then I need 2 pieces to line the inside and the outside. Just went 1 1/4 inches. Notice that paper had a roughed up edge on it, so I just turned it around so I can get a smoother edge. Okay. Now, y'all remember I told you I was a slow crafter, right? Eventually I get it done, but yeah. I think Dee Dee did these 3 pockets in like less than 10 minutes. I'll be happy if I do them in less than 30 minutes. But we'll just have to see. It might not be less. I just turned that around because I saw my pencil mark there on the corner, which would not have mattered in the least bit, but yeah. Press that down good, flip it over, and do the other one. Oh, radio silence. I think I was telling y'all yesterday about my grandpa and their cabin and my fireworks. Man, I don't know if I ever made my point, but these days, you know, that was just common back then, and we rode our bicycles in the street, and we went down to the lake and threw rocks in the lake, and things were just different then, I guess. But boy, today, if somebody saw me sitting out there under that tree with a pack of firecrackers at 7 or 8 years old, they'd probably call child services. No kidding. Okay, another thing you can do is once you have this folded, is you can cover, instead of covering this side, the clean side of the envelope, you can cover the side that has the catch on it. And that way you can avoid having a catch in your pocket. I'm just going to make sure it gets glued down really well. See, like this is what we would normally consider the back of the pocket. Okay, that's wanting to come up, so I'm going to get that edge up there. That one's okay. Now, and this is what I'm going to do on this one. Here's the top of my pocket. If I cover this side of it, then it leaves me a clean back, so there's nothing to catch for my insert to catch on. My tag or whatever I choose to put on there, there's nothing for it to catch on. Okay, so here we go. And I know y'all probably have better ways of doing some of this, and I'm not saying that my way's the best. My way's not new, my way's not anything but getting it done. So if y'all have tips and tricks and want to leave them in the comments, please, 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 please go right ahead. I appreciate any tip or trick that I can get. Okay, now it appears that we got that one covered well. And here again, I'm just going to nip the top of this off just to make sure. See, because I've got, I don't know if you can see that little white where that scrapbook paper came up above my pocket. And when I fold my little collars down, I think they look like a shirt. When I fold my little collars down, that white is going to show. So I'm just going to nip it off. I'm going to ink it anyway, but just to start with a clean slate. Okay, if I get out of my own way here and show y'all actually what I'm doing. Okay, I just pinched the middle, and I'm taking only the front of the envelope, and I'm going to cut down about an inch, a little less, that's probably 3/4. Put my finger over here. Y'all, please forgive my hands. They are in such terrible shape. I keep my hands in so much water that my hands dry out so bad. And working with paper does not help one little bit, because paper itself will dry your hands out. Okay. And I'm going to get a little ink on the subject here. And then I'm going to tack down my little collar. And I'm using art glitter glue to tack that down, just because of ease of use. Okay, and now we'll ink around. And now we have another nice little pocket. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Dee Dee, for having your videos up. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope you have some time to get a little crafty. See you next time.